Today I'm going to be reviewing the cheapest lens option you can find for the Blackmagic 4K, and maybe even the cheapest you can find for any Micro Four Thirds camera at all. First of all, it's like very cheap. Right now it's at $69, I think, compared to this at $400, which is actually still cheap. And before I tell you the best things about this lens, I'll tell you the worst things, or the trade-off, or what you might say, maybe the reason it's so cheap. And I'll tell you what I generally think about the lens, and then I'll come to some conclusion of if you should buy it or not. First off, let's start with the bad things. First of all, I know this is a weird small thing, but it has no like a clicky lens protection like this one has. It means that when I'm using an ND filter, which you are going to use, you cannot use this lens cap over it. So you have to either take the ND filter off if you want to go somewhere, or maybe just leave it unprotected. I don't know what you would prefer, or then you maybe can buy something extra to protect the ND filter. But you should know that this is a trade-off for the lens. And then number two, maybe the bigger thing why some people will not buy this lens, it's almost entirely impossible to keep this stable while you're focusing. It's fairly easy to go around like this with your arms tight and keep it somewhat steady. But because it's so light, the lens is so light and the camera is so light, you will get these micro shakes. If you want to stable it on a gimbal, you cannot focus because this is a manual focus, like from a manual focus from a photo lens, and you cannot put a focus pulling gears on it like you can on this lens. And number three is a small thing, is showing up with a camera like this does not make you look like a pro, and for some people who cares about this, it could be a problem. And then I'll tell you the good things about this lens, but first consider hitting the like button, because it will tell YouTube that this video is recommended for other people to watch. Here are the good things about this little cheap lens. First of all, it's super compact. As you can see, this is some of the smallest you will ever find a lens on. It is just so tiny, and if you like that, that's really some of the smallest lens you can find on the market. Number two is that picture quality is actually quite good. I would say it's adequate, and it's even good enough for almost anything. So if you need better picture quality than this, I imagine you have much more expensive lenses, even more expensive than this one, because I can't really see how the image quality is lacking anything. And number three good thing is it is actually quite easy to focus on this wheel. It's smooth, it runs, it's great, and if you can keep it steady, it's actually quite easy. There is markers on it, so you can see how many meters and how many feet for focusing as well. And number four is I actually also like that it has this aperture ring outside. It's like a T-stop, so you can go all the way to 1.7 and all the way to 22. So you can do this without going into the system to do it. It's like a cinema lens, but it's not really like a cinema lens. And then number five is that it doesn't actually feel cheap. So it's made of metal, not plastic, so it feels like good quality, like it will last for a long time. And number six, most obvious reason that is great, is that it's super cheap. There are a 25mm version in f1.8, and then there's two 35mm versions, one with a 1.7, the one I have here, which is the cheapest one on the market right now. And there's a 1.4 version of this 35mm, which is only $89 right now. And then there is a 50mm version at f1.7, about $100. Sadly, there is not a cheap 12mm version. It's around $200, and then I prefer the $400 version from Meike, the cinema grade. At $200, you have it's not dirt cheap like this one is, so it's like it's a considerable purchase and not just like an extra lens. I think it's too expensive not to like go the full in and buy the better one instead. And I would say if you put this camera on a tripod, then you have a really good solution. In my mind, this lens and this camera could be perfect for a second angle or even the primary angle for a podcast setup. So if you are considering making a podcast or a YouTube channel with the fixed angles and even multiple angles, or even streaming from this camera with an extra angle or two, this could be a cheap option to have more cameras instead of just one camera with an expensive lens. For this reason, I really love this one. It does require me to use either a tripod or a monopod when I'm using it. I really recommend it because if you don't really like it, you could just resell it again and recover half, and then you maybe only lost like $30 or $40. Now what you should do is you should really consider watching my review of the 25mm cinema lens. It's right here. That lens is better in regards of ease of use and quality of life. Click here to watch this video, and I really hope to see you in that video too. Thank you for watching.